What's up? This is Donnie Fever with Tuff City Distribution, home of Fever skateboards, brolic hardware, and booty grip tape. This right here is my behind the board. Well, in 2006, what happened is that I felt there was a void in the market for a company that represented guys who looked like me, who lived my lifestyle, versus me having to buy into somebody else's lifestyle. Fever to me was a way of doing that. I wanted to be the ultimate example of style, and that goes from how you ride the board, the fit you wear when you're on the board, and just your overall persona when you're riding Fever. It's not necessarily when you're down with us, you have to become us. What you are becomes a part of who we are. And that's what made me, want to go out and come up with a brand that was different from everybody else's. Because I hear a lot of people say, you know what, XYZ is on this new board company. He's a good fit for them. That's not what we're about. We want it to be like, hey, you are an extension of who we are. So it's gonna fit regardless. You don't have to look like I look or listen to the same music that I listen to in order to be down with Fever. That's why that's why we came up with the Strays. The Strays is a organization of guys who necessarily aren't the same, from the riders on the squad to Ali to Brian Gonzalez and guys like Paco and Sharif. They're different. Each guy is different in their own regard, and they bring something to the table that the other one doesn't have, which gives us diversity in the market, and it also gives us a broader spectrum. We're not pigeonholed to be one type of board company. The inspiration behind Fever and the reason why I started is because I wanted to bring back the feeling of when I was a kid and the experience that I got when I looked at skate magazines, seeing Tony Hawk, Christian Hosoi, and Steve Stedham. The focus back then was on the rider and not so much the board company. You knew who those guys rode for, but at the end of the day, when you saw their pro model, their name was the overall picture of what you saw. POW was written in little letters, and that's what we're trying to bring back with Fever. We have our team decks, which are, the plain black, the plain white. Those speak to a symbol of elegance, meaning they're clean, no distractions, not a bunch of graphics that makes no sense. Everything with Fever has a purpose and it has a reason. And what we're doing here is we want to bring back the feeling of old. We want to say, hey, that's Khalif's board. That's his logo. So now Khalif has more stake in the game. Now he's able to go out there and say, you know what? This is what I have to offer to the skate world. It's not about Fever and then it's about me, because now the way the game is that riders are interchangeable. A rider could leave a company today and you would never know it. Why? Because they got somebody else to come along and take his place. But if you bring back what was once there, where riders had their own logos, where they built companies around one guy or two guys, then a rider has stock in the game. Now, not only is his success beneficial to you as a brand, it's beneficial to him as well. And that's the type of vibe I want to do with Fever. I want that old school styling back. When people say, keep it core, to me that's core. It's not about how you dress. It's not about looking like a Hesher. That's not core to me. That's just a style. That's a fad that's gonna go out any day now. To be core is to bring the game back to where it was. And it's as simple as that. I hear this all the time from kids, and it's one of the pet peeves I have when I'm talking about this brand, because it's almost like I'm speaking in Greek or they don't even understand what it is that we're doing. It's like I want to bring that back where the focus is on the rider. So if I give you a board, not only am I giving you a board, I'm giving you your own business. I'm empowering you to say, hey man, I believe in what you're doing. I think you're the future of this company. I think you're the future of skateboard. So I'm going to put everything that I have behind you and what it is you represent and what it is you stand for. And that speaks to what I was saying earlier about, fitting in the Fever. It's not necessarily that you fit in the Fever, it's that who you are is what make Fever what it is. I can't express it enough. each guy is his own business. Each guy is his own man. So the thing that we're trying to do is build our brand around the skate community versus us putting our brand out there and having people buy in. All right, enough about the brands, enough about, the business of skateboarding. Let's get into something a little bit more lighthearted. If you know Donnie Fever, you know I'm all about my sneakers. And my weapon of choice is the Paul Rodriguez Nike SB. You know what I'm saying? I've been collecting Paul's shoes since about 2005. Got my first pair in October. I like Paul's shoes because they're different. Each shoe they do, it's rarely the same as the one they previously did, except for like the sixes. The sixes and the fives, they have a lot of similarities, but everything else, it's like they changed the whole design, the whole modeling, the model of the shoe. So the first ones I got were these right here. October of 05, I was in Ruin Skate Shop in Atlanta, and I ran into one of my good buddies, Mike Devine, who owns, loves skateboarding, and he sold me on P-Rods, man. He was like, hey man, you gotta get the P-Rods, man, if you're gonna get a shoe. They lightweight, they're flexible, they're the greatest skate shoe I've ever skated in. So I was like, man, Mike, I don't know, because I wasn't really on the Nike tip. Everybody else was at that time, it was starting to get hot. So, I picked up a pair, and man, dude wasn't lying. It's a good, it was one of the best skate shoes out at the time. And from there, I was like, yo, I gotta have every color. So, I started off with that one, and then, I went on to get, the 420s, and then they came out with the P-Rod 2. And, a lot of people, it was a love and hate relationship with the P-Rod 2. My favorite one out of that series was the J-Rod 2s. Looked like the Jordan 3s. I copped those from Hazard County Skate Park out in McDonough. This is one of my favorite P-Rods. This one's got a lot of wear out of it. As you can see, the clear soles done turned yellow on these here, but it's a real solid shoe nonetheless. And it's just something I do besides start brands. I love products. I love I like the aspect of what Nike's brought to the game. A lot of people hate on it, saying they're trying to corner the market and shut down the smaller skate brands. But it's like I tell anybody, man, if you want to stay in the game, you got to step your game up. Hey, the Roman Empire fell, and that was the biggest empire at that time. But you keep plugging at these dudes, and who knows what'll happen. Don't give up just because the guy on the block is bigger than you. But for me, I've always been a Nike head. I've always rocked Jordans. As a kid, I have the Barclays, which I actually have some Barclays. Those were my shoe. I wasn't really big on the Dunks back then, but for me, a lot of guys have always been on them. I think the Dunks have stepped the game up a lot from when they first started. A lot of people go for the nostalgic Dunks, but me, my favorite ones as of right now are, hold up, these right here, and these just came out not too long ago. They're from Uprise Skate Shop in Chicago. I call these the Fevers, man. You can hate it or love it, but these are the Fevers. That red, black, and white, that's us all day. That's Fever. So whenever I rock these, I'm repping my brand. I shout out to them boys at Uprise, but y'all hooked us up with our first SB. That's the way I look at it. Now I'm just tripping, but this is something else I do to show support to riders who I like. I like Paul, so I buy Paul's stuff. And the costing, I pick up on all the riders on SB. You know what I'm saying? I support all those guys. I got the Costins, the Easters. These are fresh to me. So I don't have a problem supporting riders that I like. And a lot of kids, for me, they don't do that. They'll say, hey man, I like Costin. Costin's my favorite skater, but then when you look at them, they don't have any Costin. They don't have anything saying that they supported Costin, or and that, to me, that's bogus. So if you support a skater, if you support what they're doing, go out, pick up their product, because that's how these dudes feed their families. That's how they, how they eat, and that's how they are able to, continue doing what they love doing and continue to give you what you want from them. If you want to see a Paul Rodriguez part, if you want to see a Costin part, well, hey man, if you're making Costin money, he's able to go out there. He's able to go on them trips. He's able to, he's able to come to your city and do autographs. Why? Because, you're making it possible for him to do that, because trips take, cost money. Dude just can't go out and rent a van on a promise. Like, hey man, rent us a van. We promise to pay you back. It's like, nah, man. You support them brothers. So, this is how I support the skate community as well as supporting us. So that's me. That's Donnie Fever, baby. Sneakerhead #1.